Hi, I'm Greg Corombos. My guest at this time is Victoria Toensing. She is a former Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the United States. She's a former federal prosecutor and currently a partner in the Washington firm of DeGeneva Toensing. We want to get her thoughts today as the mainstream media makes a big deal out of the alleged excerpt from the forthcoming book by former National Security Advisor John Bolton, suggesting that President Trump directly ordered him to put a hold on military aid to Ukraine until investigations into Democrats had been at least announced, if not conducted. And so, Victoria, thanks very much for your time today.
It's good to be with you.
Well, your tweet in response to this news certainly caught my attention today because while the media is talking about this being a game changer, your tweet says this: "It matters not at all," and you put "not at all" in caps, "it matters not at all what Donald Trump told John Bolton. We do not prosecute people for thoughts or words, only for conduct. Ukraine got aid, but did not announce investigation. Nothing wrong there." So the allegation here is that the president finally freed up the aid when the story became public, and that's the only reason that it happened. And your argument is essentially that it doesn't matter when or why or how he released it, but the fact that he did, it was still within the window to do so, and that's all that should matter. Am I summing that up correctly?
Absolutely. Besides, the transcript or the however one wants to refer to the recording of the phone call absolutely showed no quid pro quo on the part of the president. He didn't ever say, better do this or I'm not going to give you aid. That never arose. By the way, I think that it would have been just fine if he had said that. After all, didn't he tell Mexico, I'm not going to give you aid unless you start taking care of the immigrants from Central America? If no president anymore can say, oh, I'm not going to give you aid unless you do X, that's exactly what foreign aid is for.
Well, let's dig into that because you have more legal expertise on this than a lot of people. What leverage does the president have when it comes to foreign aid, and what leverage doesn't he have? The argument from Democrats here seems to be that you can use it when it's with respect to U.S. policy, but they claim that it was designed to directly benefit the president's reelection campaign, and therefore it's a different story.
Well, anyone who knows President Trump knows that this is not about 2020. This is about 2016. And he wanted to get to the bottom of it because he is offended that he was accused of robbing a bank when there wasn't any bank robbery that ever occurred. Russian collusion all over the place. And then Rudy finds out that there was things going on in Ukraine that contributed to the Russian hoax. Actually, I think you probably know, Rudy called me and asked me to represent some of the whistleblowers in Ukraine. So I happen to know very intimately about the facts of this matter. This was all about 2016 and investigating what errors occurred there by the Democrats and not about 2020. In fact, Rudy and I talked a lot about, Biden probably won't run with this kind of thing hanging over his head.
Victoria, we keep hearing from a lot of different sources that any of these ideas coming out of Ukraine, they're either conspiracy theories or they've been looked at and they're debunked, whether it's the Bidens and Burisma, whether it's CrowdStrike and the Ukrainians going after the DNC server. What can you tell us about what you know on some of these things?
Well, it really is ironic that in this last year or two, the Democrats have made collusion a crime and conspiracy, which is a crime, a bad word. There were people in Ukraine, in fact, people should report about it, but the mainstream media won't, people in the Obama White House in January 2016 that brought in people from the Ukrainian embassy and asked them to, quote, unquote, get dirt on Paul Manafort and Donald Trump. That was January 2016. And don't take my word for it. Take one of the witnesses to that, Andrei Teledenko, who was on Rudy Giuliani's 3-hour presentation on OAN talking about it. This is confirmed. He also has told about how the, I think her name is Alexandra, is it Chalupa?
Chalupa, yeah.
Chalupa. A DNC operative was out asking for dirt on Paul Manafort. So this, I don't know what the word conspiracy means to everybody today, but it actually means that people gathered together and conspired, agreed to do things that were illegal, which this was.
Another way of looking at this, of course, is that for the first couple of years of his presidency, the president was routinely accused of not caring or not looking into with enough intensity what happened in 2016. And now that he does, this is the reaction, it would seem.
Well, of course, because it negatively affects the Democrats, and the Democrats have the mainstream media with them, and so it's very difficult to overcome all of that. The front page of the Washington Post and the New York Times and CNN all together.
Victoria, where does this go from here? Do you think Bolton ends up being called for a witness? Do enough Republicans end up demanding that he come forward and testify? Or does this blow over in a few days and we're right back where we started?
Well, I hope they don't. I hope that they have enough chutzpah to see beyond what's going on here. I think the argument made today by one of the lawyers that the House conducted impeachment inquiry and vote that lacked due process. And so don't bless it by then going along and doing the work for them that they did not do for themselves. And so I would hope that there's enough people with guts. Our president has shown people how to fight. I would hope that they would say, no mas. Let's stop this here. And you know what will happen then? The Democrats will go off and go find another reason to impeach.
Well, one of the reasons for this impeachment effort, as well as other scandals over the past few years, is to deflect potentially from what's being discovered elsewhere. And I'm specifically referring now to the Durham investigation. I know you've got good contacts in various places. What do you know about where the Durham investigation's heading at this point?
Well, all you had to know about that is that he opened a grand jury. So that means that Durham thinks there's criminal conduct afoot, and we will see where it takes us because he's being very methodical about it. I predict there will be indictments.
Well, a lot more to come, no doubt about it. Victoria, always good to have your insights. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Victoria Toensing, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the United States, former federal prosecutor, now a partner in the Washington firm of DeGeneva Toensing. I'm Greg Corombos reporting for Radio America.